A new bonding.
By Navita Reddy. Mira was stuck in the rain. She was trying to book a cab for the past 30 minutes to reach home. At last, she was successful. She sighed and said to herself, "Thank God. Hope the driver reaches on time. I hate this rain." After 10 minutes, she got a call from the driver that he was waiting downstairs. She hurriedly picked up her things from the supermarket and ran towards the lift. She was trying to locate the cab, but the rain was obstructing her view. Meanwhile, a cab driver waved his hand and asked her to stay there. He drove the cab close to Mira. He took the 2 bags that Mira was carrying and helped her get inside. She was very much thankful to the driver and settled down. Once the cab started to move on the main road, she said, "Thank you, Mr." And she looked at the mobile app to know his name. He replied, "Vishal. Vishal is my name." She looked at him and smiled. He had a very charming face and a sweet smile. She was moved by his courteous and humble nature. He struck up a conversation with Mira so that she did not get bored during the 40-minute drive. He looked like an educated and well-versed person. She inquired about him and his qualifications. Vishal told her that he was a student pursuing masters in physics at a nearby college. In his free time, he drove cabs to make some extra money to meet his expenditure. Mira was quite impressed with Vishal's manners. Soon, they reached S.M. Meadows' apartment, and the cab stopped in front of a huge gate. Mira got out, paid Vishal, and hurried towards the lift. Mr. Krishnan, her husband, was eagerly waiting for Mira. Mira gave a smile and opened the door. She said, "Sorry. I thought I will be home by the time you come back from the office, but this rain, oh gosh, it was so tiring." She kept the bags on the table and went inside to make tea. After some 3 hours, Mira wanted to make a call to her brother, but she could not find her phone. She searched every nook and corner of the house, but there was no trace of the cell phone. She took Krishnan's mobile and called her number. It was ringing, but no one was answering it. After trying several times, someone answered the call. She said, "Hello, this phone is mine. I lost it. Please let me know where you are. I will collect it." The guy from the other side said, "Mom, this phone is yours. I am Vishal, the cab driver who dropped you today. We'll finish my trip and then come to the same place where I dropped you to hand over the phone." Mira was relieved after hearing this. She thanked Vishal many times and disconnected the call. She was lost in deep thought for some time, and then went out to inform Krishnan about the lost phone. Vishal returned Mira's phone as promised. This incident made Mira trust Vishal. Now she called up Vishal if she wanted to go out shopping, to the library, to meet friends and family. Vishal happily served Mira. He was on time and provided pickup and drop facility without any hassles. This went on for a long time and both became good friends. They discussed a lot while traveling from politics to cricket, from the fashion world to spirituality, from business news to gossip about neighbors. Mira and Vishal became very close to each other. Vishal now started spending more time with Mira. He became so close that he was treated like a family member. Mr. Krishanan was a bit irritated with this, but he did not utter a word. Mira cooked food that was Vishal's favorite. At least 3 days a week, Vishal was seen in Mira's house. Mr. Krishnan noticed a huge change in Mira's behavior. She was always in a happy mood. Always humming her favorite songs, she dressed well and cooked with lots of enthusiasm. Neighbors and apartment residents started gossiping about Mira and her new boyfriend. Few called her names like characterless, shameless, etc. But Mira just ignored and continued to move on with Vishal. Finally, one day, Mr. Krishnan got a call from the apartment association secretary to attend a meeting at 4 p.m. on the same day. Vishal called Mira and asked her to meet him in a restaurant at the same time. Mira ignored her husband's request to attend the association meeting and stepped out to meet Vishal. Mr. Krishanan went to the meeting hall and murmurs started. He looked around to see who was attending the meeting. Neighbors who were once close to Krishnan now avoided him. Secretary Manjunath stood up and waved his hand at everyone, gesturing them to keep quiet. Manjunath said, "Members, we are here to discuss the issues and problems that we are facing in this apartment, so I request you to share your problems one by one in this open forum without any hesitation." S.K. Dutta, neighbor of Mr. Krishnan, stood up. "Members, we do not have any issue related to the maintenance of this apartment. This time we have a different issue. Our apartment residents are indulging in wrong acts. This could harm our children and women as well." He looked at Mr. Krishanan and continued, "Mrs. Krishnan is going around with a cheap cab driver. We have seen her holding his hand and move around on the balcony and common areas. What examples are we setting to our children? This is not okay with us. Either they should stop all this, or they should vacate the flat." Other members also joined him. "Yes, I have seen Mira going with that guy." Someone else said that he had seen her in a restaurant with that guy. "Chi-Chi, how shameless she is. How come her husband was quiet about this? He must be having an affair with someone else, so he is quiet," someone ventured. Members continued to poke fun at Mr. Krishnan. Laughter, giggles, and disgusting looks followed. After some time, Mr. Krishnan stood up and said, "My wife, Mira, is in love, truly, madly, and deeply. I am seeing a new Mira after 6 years. She was not like this before. All of you are right. She has changed a lot. Let me tell you the incident that changed Mira. My son, Sujay, was the apple of our eye. Mira was very close to him. She loved him more than anyone in this world. One day, while playing with his friends. Sujay met with an accident in front of our house. Blood was oozing out from his head and nose. I took him in my car to the hospital. I tried my best to speed up and reach the hospital. Unfortunately, by the time I put him on a stretcher, he breathed his last. Doctors declared him brought dead. Mira and I were both shattered. Our beloved son was no more. Mira was devastated after this incident. It took a long time for Mira to recover. After meeting Vishal, I could see a spark in her eyes. She was seeing Sujay in Vishal. If Sujay was alive today, he would be of Vishal's age. She found her lost son in Vishal. The bond that they share is not in intimacy, but a pure love between mother and son. I am married to Mira for almost 25 years, and only I can understand the pain she had gone through. So please do not separate my wife, Mira, from her son. I beg you all. He folded his hands, wiped his tears, and left the room. Krishnan reached his apartment and opened the door. He found Mira sitting in the darkness. He went near her, and she was sobbing. He hugged her and asked, "What happened, Mira?" She said, "I lost my son again, Krishnan. I am a loser." Her eyes filled with tears. Mira reached the restaurant and found Vishal waiting for her at one of the tables. She hurried towards the table and sat in front of him. Vishal looked dull and sad. She struck up a conversation first. "So, how come Vishal is giving treat here? Are you bored with my cooking?" He said, "No, nothing like that. I wanted to tell you that I'm going. I'm moving out of this place." Mira felt like thunder had hit her on the head. Why Vishal? What happened? Vishal replied that when he was returning from her place, the day before he met her neighbor, S.K. Dutta, he threatened him not to come there again. "I don't care what he thinks about me. But Mom, I don't want people to misjudge you and your character. Even if we explain that the bond between us is like a mother and son, nobody would believe us. Society will not accept us. I miss you, Mom. Please take care." Saying this, he gave her a hug and walked out of the restaurant. After hearing all this, Mr. Krishnan hugged Mira and said, "Last time I was late and we lost our son. This time I won't delay, Mira. I will not let you down. Trust me, I will bring him back to us."